Hello friends, so today I wanted to talk about a very unique type of anabolic compound that not a lot of people know about, and it's called metformin. It is generally prescribed to diabetic patients to control their blood glucose level, but it's a very effective glucose shuttling agent and it's very anabolic in nature. So it gives you that 3D round fullness look to your muscles and at the same time help you go from lean, that is 10 or 12% body fat percentage, to shredded, that is 5 or 6% body fat percentage. So if in your next cycle you want to incorporate metformin, then do check out this video because I'm going to give you the breakdown, how to use it, what are the doses, what are the benefits, when to use it, how to use it. So let's get started. So let me give you a bit of a background on what metformin is and when it was discovered. So metformin first appeared in medical literature in early 1920s and started being used as a diabetic medication in US in 1995. A very interesting fact about metformin is that it was researched briefly as an anti-malarial agent, and it was very effective in doing that. It was working very effectively in combating some of the side effects that we see during some of the symptoms that we see in malaria, and also very effective in preventing that virus from progressing very fast. However, metformin never got the attention it deserved because of the side effect that were seen by the other members of guanidine family. Metformin belongs to a family of drugs known as guanidine. They are extracted from a plant that shows very potent glucose shuttling effects. Some of the other members of guanidine families are phenmorphin and buformin. These are the early versions of metformins, and what happened is that they were very side effect prone. So users will often report gastrointestinal discomfort, they will report gas, flatulence, all host of side effects that were undesirable. And because of that, when metformin got released in the market, people automatically assume that the same side effects is going to be seen with metformin use, and that's not really the case when it comes to metformin. And you're going to see that later in the video. So how metformin works? Metformin is a blood glucose lowering agent. So what it does is that it improves your sensitivity towards insulin. It keeps your sensitivity up for insulin and allow your pancreas to release effective amount of insulin in response to the food that you consume. And on top of that, it also works, as I said previously, as a very effective glucose shuttling agent. What that means is that whenever you consume food, whatever the glucose that is available in that food source, it takes that and effectively puts it inside your muscle cells. And that's one of the reasons why it gives you that fuller, 3D, rounder look to the muscles when we use metformin. So when you use metformin, what is actually happening is that your body is becoming more effective in absorbing the nutrition that it gets from the food. So it's a simplified explanation of what metformin is doing overall in your body. So why use metformin in the first place? So what metformin does is that it do two main things. First, it allows you to build tons and tons of muscle. And when I say that it's really anabolic, I really mean it. When it comes to the anabolic strength, you will notice that it is comparable to trenbolone when it comes to packing on pounds of muscle on your body. And the second main benefit of metformin is that it is a very effective fat loss agent. So don't get me wrong here, it does not increase your calorie expenditure, it does not directly cause you to lose fat. It's just, it allows you to very effectively absorb glucose from your food. And as we know that if we absorb food more efficiently, we don't pack on lots of fat and unwanted weight from the food. So that is the two main ways that it can benefit any bodybuilder or anyone who's into enhancing their fitness and enhancing their physique. So in essence, what metformin is going to do for you is that if you are not comfortable in using insulin, or if you are just starting out and want to get a feel of what it's like to be on insulin without actually being on insulin, then metformin is the way to go. When you use metformin, it essentially replaces what insulin will do if you incorporate that in your cycle, and will give you the similar effects and it's almost just as powerful as using low doses of insulin, and without much side effect when it comes to using it on a daily basis. Another very interesting fact about metformin is that it is one of the only few FDA approved longevity drugs. What that means is that it improves all signs of aging. So aging consists of multiple different whole host of things that starts to happen as you age, and metformin in studies has been shown to effectively reduce all of those symptoms and all of those pathways. So this is another interesting fact about metformin that not a lot of people who use metformin, especially diabetic patients, they don't know about. Personally, I take 500 milligrams of metformin first thing in the morning as a part of my longevity staff. I also take other supplements as well, which I will list in the description. But metformin is one of the main ones. One more benefit of metformin is that metformin comes in a pill form, so you have to take it orally. And metformin reduces haptic glucogenesis in the liver. Basically, it is very liver protective. It prevents liver from absorbing too much glucose, or it allows your liver, in other words, to more efficiently process glucose. Hence, it's very liver protective when you use it. In addition, metformin lowers blood pressure and blood plasma lipids. So what that means is that your lipid profiles will come in much nicer when you're on metformin. Moving forward, metformin increases fibrolytic activity. So fibrolysis is a process by which our body naturally prevents blood clots from forming. So it is especially a very important property of metformin for those who are using EPO or any other PEDs that significantly increase hemoglobin levels. So if you're using metformin along with your other PEDs, you can have a peace of mind that your hemoglobin is not going to cause you to have the significant increased risk of blood clot development when you're using metformin. Now let's talk about dosing. So let's say you want to incorporate metformin in your next cycle. So how would you go about taking it? So metformin is generally started at a dose of 500 milligram taken once in the morning. And for first 2 weeks, you're gonna keep this same dose and let your body adjust to metformin. Once this 2 or 3 week time has passed, you can increase the dose and start taking full dose of metformin, which is 1 gram, so 1000 milligram. So you will take first dose 500 milligram in the morning and second dose 500 milligram in the evening. One thing to note here is that do not take metformin too close to your bedtime, because in studies it has been shown that it can cause some disruption with your natural sleep cycles. So I would advise you take it early on in the evening. So let's assume you're completely sold on metformin and you're deciding to use metformin in your next cycle. So you need to keep the one thing in mind is that initially metformin gives certain gastrointestinal discomfort related side effects, which I'm going to later discuss in the video. But it all passes away after a while of use. So give yourself 3 or 4 weeks of time and you just start metformin. Don't jump the gun and stop using metformin if it's giving you gastrointestinal related side effects. Be patient when it comes to using this drug, because it takes a while for your body to get used to it. Now, talking about side effects, let's discuss some of the side effects that are commonly seen with metformin use. So one of the most common side effects of metformin users is lactic acidosis. So in a simpler language, it's just an increase of lactic acid in all throughout your body. So lactic acid is found when we exercise, after the exercise. So you see that, that burning feeling in your muscle if you do a lot of reps, that's lactic acid. So when lactic acid increases in your body, especially in your liver or in your food canal, what will happen is that you will get acidity or acid reflux. And this is one of the most common side effects that most of the users get. But as I said previously in the video, what happens is that after the first initial 2-3 weeks period, your body, this lactic acidosis will subside. So you will not see this side effect at least. from using metformin. When it comes to metformin, there's not a lot of side effects. The only few side effects are this lactic acid related issue and some other gastrointestinal related issues such as gas and indigestion. Sometimes people also report constipation, mild constipation, but all these minor side effects are just for the initial period, and after these 2-3 weeks of period, you won't notice much of the side effects. However, there is one important thing that I wanted to mention here is that if you are running any kidney heavy compound such as trenbolone or any other compound that is specifically very hard on your kidneys, and if you go and get your kidney values checked and they comes in higher, and if you see that your creatinine levels are higher and elevated, so if you do want to use metformin still, you would want to dose no higher than 500 milligram for the entirety of your cycle. The reason behind this is that metformin primarily gets filtered through urine. So your kidneys will filter almost all of the metformin that you consume. And if your kidneys are not filtering effectively, what will happen is that metformin will start to build up in your body. And this buildup of metformin won't harm you that much, but the only side effect you will get is lactic acidosis, as I mentioned before, acid reflux. So if you have kidneys that are not filtering effectively, or if you're running a kidney heavy compound, then be mindful of this thing that you have to take metformin in lower doses than usual. But I do want to mention here is that when it comes to metformin, it is very organ protective. I use the term organ here is because it protects liver, because it is effective in allowing your liver to process glucose. It is kidney protective because it lowers the overall free-flowing sugar or glucose levels in your blood, which are very detrimental to kidney health. And it also lowers blood pressure and heart rate, which are also another contributing in cardiovascular issues and in kidney related issues. So all in all, metformin doesn't have that much of a side effect and is very protective and longevity promoting drug when it comes to using it in your cycle. Guys, that was all about metformin. If you want to know more about how to effectively use different PEDs and what their side effects going to be, so do check out my Cycle Simplified series. And if you're interested in knowing about longevity and new research compound, then check out my research compound and nootropic playlist. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care. Bye.